welcome back to my channel. Today is Sunday. Normally I go live, but today I'm going to do a video. We'll be live on the 14th and I will be live with a special guest, so make sure you watch out for that. But for today, I'm going to be doing a Sunday roast. I haven't done a Sunday roast for aeons. So what am I going to be doing? And I am going to be doing this the diabetic way. So obviously if you're doing this normal way, you can add your salt, your milk, and all your bits and bobs. But this is the way I'm going to do it. So I'm going to be doing this chicken. Now I bought this chicken yesterday from our local centre and it was €7. So I think that was a good value for a 1.9 kg chicken. I've already prepared my potatoes because I'm going to be doing mash and I'm going to be doing roasties. I'm also going to be doing carrots and cabbage. And I will be doing Yorkshire puddings. So I'll bring you down and show you what I'm going to be doing. So without any further ado, bring you down. I'll just mind the carrots first. I'm using my halogen oven. I'll be using my double hob and my small hob to do all this, and I will also be using my air fryer. Now I could do most of it in a couple of things, but I'm doing it that way. So the first thing I'm going to do is put my chicken. Now if you've noticed, I'm not going to put my chicken flat on the bottom. I'm going to put it on this rack because that will take all the fats away from the chicken. Now I'm not going to do anything special with the chicken. I'm not going to add butter. I'm not going to add salt, pepper, nothing like that. I'm just going to do it basically like that. What I will do is keep basting it just so the skin goes crispy. I'm going to pat this dry with kitchen towel. So when I've done that, I'll bring you back. Now I've patted that dry. That is going to go in the holder of the halogen oven. And I'm going to put that on 180 and I'll do it for an hour and a half and see how it's doing. And obviously I will baste it, but it will not be all fatty on the chicken because it's going to drain to the bottom. So now that's in, as you can see, I have my potatoes done in a pan. I have my cabbage. Now I cut it up into strips, and then I have a small amount of carrots. That's 2 carrots, by the way. That was 3 leaves of the cabbage, and that was 6 potatoes, 3 big ones, 3 small ones. Now as you can see, I took most of the potatoes out. I've left 6 in there. And we're going to parboil them for about 10 minutes. It might be a little less because this cooks pretty fast. You don't want them fully cooked, but you don't want them raw either. So that's on for 200, or 2000 should I say. We're going to get that cooking. And I will do my Yorkshire pudding batter, which I will be doing with 4 eggs, 200 grams of plain flour, and instead of milk I'll be using water. You can use low fat milk, but I'm going to be using mine with water. As again I've said, there's no salt used in any of this because 1, there's natural salt in them, and 2, you will be adding gravy and the gravy has salt in it anyway. And the gravy I'll be using is the Super Value gravy mix, and as I said, it already has salt in anyway. Now as you see, there's my batter already done. Now obviously I showed you my batter already done. As I said, flour, water, eggs. No salt, no pepper. You could add pepper in if you want to, but hubby doesn't like pepper, so I'm not using pepper. Now all I'm doing is waiting for these potatoes. Once these potatoes are done, I'm going to empty the water out, shake them up, and then put them in my air fryer. Again, I am not using oil. So as you can see, my potatoes done, and I just gave them a shake with the lid on, so they're a bit fluffy. I'm going to put them into my air fryer. I'm going to put it on a roast setting, and I think the roast setting is 20 minutes. Now you can see that I have my pan and I've got the carrots and the potatoes in. So I'm going to put this one on a low heat because I want the carrots and the potatoes cooked together, because I will be mashing them together. So there's no point in doing them in two separate pans because they're going to be mixed together anyway. So they're on. The roasties are on. All that's left to do is the cabbage and the Yorkshire puddings. The Yorkshire puddings will only take 10 to 12 minutes in the air fryer, so I'll do that when this is nearly done. And while the Yorkshire are cooking, I will do the cabbage, because that won't take that long either, because it's cut up into strips rather than just thrown in the big pot. Now as you can see, I've already got my cabbage on. It doesn't take that long. And rather than use just boiling water for your gravy, don't get rid of the cabbage water. Use the cabbage water for your gravy. That way you'll have a nice taste to the gravy. So when everything's ready, I will bring you back. And I'm trying to make this video not too long, because I know people don't like watching extremely long videos. So yeah, I'll bring you back when it's ready for plating. Yeah. Now my chicken's nearly done, so when it is done, I'm going to take you over to show it what it looks like. Now in the end, I didn't baste it because the skin's looking perfectly crispy without doing that. Yeah. So in about 2 minutes or 2 seconds for you guys, I'll take you over and show you what it looks like. So as promised, that's what it looks like. And I hope you can hear the scratch of the skin. So I'm going to let that cool down. Before I carve it up, because as you know, if you start carving up when it's roasting hot, it all falls apart. So once that's cooled down, I will plate up. Now I already have my Yorkshire puddings done. Now the batter mix I used, I did enough for 8, but obviously we won't be using 8. And I did my roasties. There's a look. And just so you can hear the scratch. And they're just keeping warm. So the next thing you'll see, it'll all plated up. I'll give you a closer look, and then we'll give you the taste test. So I wanted to show you all the fat that came from that chicken. Don't get rid of that fat. You can make chicken stock, chicken gravy. I'm going to let that cool down. Then I'll put it into a tub, and I'll put it away for when I want to make a chicken stock for a soup or a stew. So, and it will be salt free, obviously, because I didn't use salt. So now I'm going to let that cool down. When it's cooled down, I'm going to carve it, put it on the plates, put the gravy on, and then I'll show you and we'll give it a taste test. Now while that is cooling down, just to let you know, there's enough mash and carrot mash there for another couple of people, so 2 meals. And there's the rest of my Yorkshire puddings, so there's 6 in there, and I'm going to let them cool down, and then I'm going to put some tin foil over and they can go into the fridge and use them for another time, or I'll put it in something else and put them in the freezer for another time. So saves me doing them again. Now let's give you a closer look of the nice roast chicken dinner. That's one. And that's 2. So remember, that's the dinner done. No salt. Teaspoon of oil for the Yorkshire puddings, and that is it. So we're going to taste everything. The first thing I'm going to taste is the cabbage. Nice and juicy. Now my carrot mashed potato with the gravy. Nice with a hint of sweetness from the carrot. Now I'll show you my roast potato. That's what it looks like in the inside. A nice bit of crunch. My chicken skin. Really nice. A little bit salty, but it's have its own salt. So chicken breast, didn't even have to chew it. And my Yorkies. I'll put a little bit of mashed potato on that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's delicious. I certainly am going to enjoy this. Now, as always, I will put a disclaimer on the beginning of the video. As I said, I am not a medical profession. Please make sure you check with your medical profession before you just dive into these. Just a word of warning, because as I've said before, not everybody has the same metabolism. Some can eat a little bit more, some can eat less. But that's portion size with your carbs, your vegetables, your lean meat. I think it's a great dinner. So if you like the content, please give it a like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you've got any comments, please leave them down in the comment box. Any questions I can try and help you with. As I said, we'll be going over things during the course, because like I said before, there are things I'm saying to use, but you're going to have to check the labels and stuff, purely because like things like yogurts, milk from certain companies, they're low, they say they're low fat, but there's hidden fats and stuff. So we will go through that when I do something with a yogurt, but that will be next week because I will be doing a pudding. So until the next video, I hope you enjoyed this. Have a great Sunday. Hope you're having fun or resting, playing games, watching TV, whatever you're doing. Goodbye.